When you start a faceless YouTube channel, tell no one. I know that sounds dramatic, but it needs to be said because if you're starting a channel right now, there's one mistake that is quietly killing new channels, faceless or not. And it usually starts with this action. You open a channel and the first thing you do is tell everyone you know to please support you by subscribing and liking your videos. It feels harmless, it feels supportive, but it's not. That one move can keep you stuck under 1,000 subscribers for months, confuse the algorithm about who your audience actually is, and make you think YouTube is saturated or doesn't like your content, when in reality your channel's data is polluted. From my experience and from looking at my students' channels, I keep seeing the same pattern. The channels that grow fastest are the ones that protect their data, and the channels that struggle are the ones that chase support views. When I started this channel, I didn't tell anyone. At the time, I didn't even know it was a strategy. My simple logic was, I want YouTube to find the right people for this channel. And here we are 3 years later. I opened a second channel and did the exact same thing. No announcement, no please support me, nothing. Within the first 15 hours of the first long-form video going live, that channel got monetized. What takes most people years to achieve, I was able to reach in an hour. Not because I'm special, but because the data was clean from day one. So why does this matter so much, you may ask? Let's break it down so you don't sabotage your channel before it even gets the opportunity to take off. Here's what most people do when they start a faceless channel. They upload their first video and immediately share it everywhere. WhatsApp groups, family chats, old classmates, personal Facebook and Instagram. Please support my new channel. I just uploaded my first video. On the surface, that makes sense. You need views, you want support, you want people who know you to cheer you on, which is a natural human instinct. But here's what nobody tells you. Those support views are often the worst possible audience for your channel because most of those people are not your target audience, are not interested in your niche, are clicking out of politeness, not curiosity. So this is what happens. They click the link once and watch 20 to 40 seconds of a 10-minute video. They drop off. They never come back. And YouTube is quietly collecting all of that data. It's not just that they didn't like the video. It's that they taught the algorithm the wrong things about your content. This is why I say, when you start a faceless channel, tell no one, unless they are genuinely part of your target audience. So how then does YouTube learn? Let me simplify the process. When you upload a video, YouTube doesn't just throw it at millions of random people, it tests. Think of it in a few waves. Wave 1, micro test. First 24 to 48 hours. YouTube shows your video to a small group based on your topic, title, thumbnail, previous behavior of viewers, if any. It measures who clicks, how long they watch, and who drops off immediately. This is YouTube asking, is this content good enough to try again, and for whom? Wave 2, similar people, week 1 to 2. If the first test looks promising, YouTube widens the circle. It finds people who behave like the ones who stayed. It refines, who is this really for? Wave 3, real audience, weeks 3 to 4 and beyond. Now YouTube gets more specific. People who binge this topic consistently watch this video length and who engage with similar creators. This is where your real fans start to show up. All of this depends on clean data. If your first viewers are your mom, your cousin, and your co-worker who hates YouTube videos longer than 30 seconds, you're teaching the algorithm with the wrong data about your channel. These are some of the strategies I teach inside my Accelerate program, and we go way deeper in there than I ever can in a single YouTube video. So if you're done guessing and you want a clear plan for your faceless channel, join Accelerate using the link below and plug into the community and step-by-step system. But even if you never join anything I offer, I still want you to understand this next part clearly, because this is where most people quietly destroy their channels without realizing it. Let's use a simple example. You create a faceless channel that tells dramatic geography stories. Videos like why this country's border makes no sense or the hidden economics behind this tiny island. Your ideal audience is people aged 25 to 44, interested in maps, geography, world stories, geoeconomics, the kind of people who binge geography explainers for fun. Now imagine you post your first video and share it with 100 people from your personal network. Maybe 20 people click because they like you, not because they care about geography. They watch 30 seconds of a 10-minute video. They don't subscribe, they don't click the next one. This is how your data will look like. Okay, click through from external traffic, very low average view duration, almost no real engagement from people who actually love this topic. YouTube sees, we showed this video to a sample and most people didn't stay. This might not be engaging, let's be careful with it. And it gets worse. Sometimes people will say to a family member, hey, just keep my videos playing in the background so the algorithm pushes it. So that one person sits there replaying your video over and over. To you, it feels like support. To YouTube, it looks like unnatural behavior. YouTube is very good at detecting patterns like one account or one device generating a ton of views, repetitive viewing that doesn't match normal user behavior. Best case, that traffic simply doesn't help you at all. Worst case, it can get flagged as invalid or artificial traffic, which can quietly limit your reach or even trigger reviews on your monetization. So not only are you sending the wrong audience to your videos, you're also risking YouTube treating your traffic as suspicious. Now let's flip it. You don't send it to friends and family. You let YouTube test it on its own platform. Maybe YouTube shows it to 100 people who already watch geography and map channels, click on documentaries and explainers. Only 7 people click, but those 7 watch 4 to 6 minutes of a 10-minute video. A couple subscribe, some click to watch another one of your videos. Now your data looks like lower click-through, much higher watch time, real subscribers in your niche. YouTube thinks, when we show this to people who like geography and world stories, they stay. Let's show it to more people like them. Same creator, same channel, same content. The difference is who you trained YouTube to believe your audience is, and whether your views look natural or forced. On day one, all of this just looks like a few views from people I know. But over weeks and months, that messy data compounds. And that's where it starts to feel unfair. Let me show you what that looks like side by side. Here's where it gets painful. From my own experience and what I see with my community, here's what usually happens. Channel A, polluted data, shared their early videos with random friends/family. Average view duration, 15 to 20%. YouTube keeps showing videos to people who behave like those first viewers. After a few months, views grow slowly, subs barely move. Creator feels burnt out and confused. Channel B, clean data, did not blast their videos to everyone they know, focused on topics their real audience was already watching. Average view duration, 35 to 50%. After a few months, YouTube understands who to show the videos to. Views start compounding. 1,000 subscribers becomes realistic in a few months, not years. The difference isn't better avatar or mic or even better personality. It's cleaner data. This is why I tell people, the first 30 to 90 days of your channel are not about support views. They're about creating the right data trail. Alright, quick heads up. In January, I'm hosting a free training where I'm going to walk you through how to start your Faceless channel the right way. The exact date will be confirmed in January. But if you want to be the first to know when it goes live, there's a waitlist link in the description. Add your name to the list, and as soon as the date is locked in, I'll email you the details so you don't miss it. Now, does this mean you should never tell anyone about your Faceless channel? The answer is no. There is one exception. If somebody in your personal network is truly part of your target audience. For example, you have a friend who who is already obsessed with geography. Your colleague binge watches exactly the type of videos you're making. In that case, sending them your video is fine. They'll behave like real viewers, not polite viewers. But you need to be brutally honest. What percentage of your contacts are actually your target audience? For most people, it's less than 5%. So sending your video to everyone you know just to feel supported for a day can cost you months of growth. So if you shouldn't rely on friends and family for that initial push, what should you do instead when you start a faceless channel? Here's the simple game plan. Define your target viewer. Who are they? What problem are they trying to solve? What are they already watching? Model what already works in your niche. Look at the top performing videos. Study their topics, titles, and thumbnails. Take the principle, not the plagiarism. Let YouTube test your content. Upload the video, optimize your title, thumbnail, description, and then don't chase support views. Let the platform show it to people who already watch that type of content. Use your analytics as feedback. After a few uploads, check average view duration. Try to get 35% plus. Click-through rate from recommendations. 4 to 6% plus is a good general range. Comments. Are they from people who actually care about the topic? If yes, your job is to keep creating. If not, you adjust the topic, hook, and thumbnail. And quick announcement before we wrap up. This is the last video of the year on this channel. I'm taking a short break to plan, reset, and line up everything we're doing next. We'll be back on the 5th of January 2026, and we have a lot in store. New tutorials on faceless channels and AI, deeper breakdowns of strategies that are working right now, and more behind the scenes of how I'm building my own channels. So if you're watching this at the end of the year, use this time to set up your systems, protect your data, and come into January ready to build properly. So here's the mindset shift. When you start a faceless channel, you don't need applause, you need clean data. Don't build your channel on polite clicks. Build it on the people who will binge your videos a year from now. For your next upload, try this. Don't send the link in every group chat. Don't beg for support views. Let YouTube do the job you're trying to do manually. If you're wondering, okay, but what should my first few months actually look like? I already made a full video breaking down the exact 90-day plan I'd follow if I was starting a brand new faceless channel from scratch. I'll leave that video on the screen and in the description so you can watch it right after this one and map out your next 3 months. If you want even more step-by-step help, you can join Accelerate using the link in the description if you're ready to dive deeper with me, or hop on the waitlist for the free January training so you're the first to know when it goes live. And if this video helped you, make sure you subscribe and tell me in the comments. Are you still going to share your next video with friends and family, or are you going to let YouTube find your real